Howdy folks, how we all doing? I'm the Reverend Danny Crosby, a Unitarian minister serving congregations in Altrincham and in Urmston in the northwest of England. I do hope you're able to find and you're able to witness the blessings that are here in life in these difficult times. It's hard for all of us, my friends, but we are all in this one together, doing what we can, giving what we've got. So I'm offering these devotions as my little bit of hope, I suppose, doing what I can do, playing my role, being a part of the solution, if you like. These devotions are offered as a balm for the heart, the mind, the spirit, and the soul. And the title for today's reflection is Open Eyes, Open Hearts, Open Minds, Open Hands. So I'm going to begin by inviting us just to still ourselves here together. Let's invite a loving presence to be here amongst us and to awaken from deep, deep within us. I have lit the flame of freedom in this cup of belonging, acceptance and love. We join together in our physical separation, but united in our devotion to life and to love. Let us be open to all that life offers this day. Let us open our hearts to both the joy and the suffering present in life, so as to respond with compassion where compassion is needed, and celebration where celebration is needed. May we open our minds to new truths so as to not become slaves to what we think we know. May we open our souls to the spirit that moves through all of life so as to be transformed into something new with each experience. Let us be open. May we be open to all that this day brings, to all that life offers, and may we offer our all to life. May our very frail, fragile human being become a vessel of love and peace, joy and truth, this day and in all the days to come. Now, if I've learned anything about spiritual living, if you like, I have learned that the key is openness. The key to spiritual living is to live with open hearts, open minds, open eyes, and open hands. These four are spiritual living in practice, I would say, which I have come to believe is the true essence of religion. I know it's a word people don't like. Not creed-like religion, but a truly living, breathing, practicing, free religion, true religion, intentional spirituality, if you like. It should not only bring us to life as individuals, but enable us to live truly alive and fully awake in this our shared world. It's not just about ourselves, it's about all, it's about community. Nothing is excluded. The Unitarian minister James Villa Blake in the 19th century wrote the following: "Love is the spirit of this church, and service its law. This is the great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another." I like it. It's a covenant that in many ways articulates the essence of what I see and what I believe it means to live in an open, living, breathing, spiritual community. What I would call free religion. When I am asked what it means to be a Unitarian, the first word that comes to my mind is always openness. It seems to me that we are an open tradition. Now, as I have come to believe, the essence of openness is always humility as well. But I'll talk a bit more about humility later. To be open, you need to be humble. You need humility, true humility. A word that's often misunderstood. Now, openness is very much a doing word. It's not so much that you are open, but that you live openly. I have come to believe that to do so religiously is to be open in 4 different ways. It is to live with open eyes, open hearts, open minds, and open hands. To live with these 4 open minds, open hearts, open eyes, and open hands is not easy. It's not an easy task at all. In fact, to master them is virtually impossible. The key actually is to simply begin and continue. To practice intentionally, I suppose. Now, to live with open eyes is to see the world as the world truly is, to see reality as it really is, warts and all, and beauty spots too. To live with open eyes is to not turn away from the suffering present in life, but also to pay attention to life's beauty too. To live with open eyes is to see the reality of the whole of life, life in its completeness. And that's not easy. So often we are tempted to turn away. How often do we turn away? To live truly connected lives, we need to live with open eyes, to see life in all its blessings and all its curses, to turn away from nothing despite the temptation. To live with an open mind, if you like, is to be able to search for truth and meaning while maintaining an awareness of the tension between certainty and curiosity. It is the balance of being receptive to what is new and alien while at the same time holding on to what is most dear. It is to try to know while in the presence of the unknown and unknowable. This can make others feel very uncomfortable, and others may try to close an open mind or fill an open mind with all sorts of things. To live with an open mind does not mean that we do not discern, that we don't come to conclusions. Of course we come to conclusions. It's quite the opposite, actually. It is vital to come to conclusions so that one can then act in the world. It's just that after the decision, after the conclusion, if you like, is made, openness must be maintained. It is never too late to change our minds, to draw new conclusions. The key is to always keep our minds open, but to be careful with what comes in, to discern that, to filter that too. Don't be dissuaded completely so easily. Now, the key to living with a loving and open heart is to live with all our senses, including our 6th sense, our soul, open to all the wonders and mysteries of life. This too brings its dangers. Living with an open heart exposes us to pain and suffering. You see, to truly live with an open heart is to allow ourselves to be touched in the most tender of places. This can hurt sometimes. Remember, Cupid's arrow had to first of all pierce the flesh before it could penetrate the heart, for love hurts deeply at times. To live with an open heart is to follow the great commandment. It is agape love. It is to love others no matter who they are and what they have done and where they have come from. It is love without condition. It is to follow the golden rule. It is to love our neighbour as we would wish to be loved ourselves. And this requires love and compassion for ourselves. Of course it does. Which can at times be the greatest challenge. People actually do love their neighbours as they love themselves, actually, sadly. So many people do not have a deep love for themselves or for life, really. And that causes great suffering to others too. To live with an open heart is to feel a deep connection with all that is, all that has been, and all that will ever be. It's not just this instant moment that we're in now. It's for the whole of life that we're a part of. This chain of being. It is to recognise, to live with an open heart is to recognise that in order to feel this connection requires us, of course, to share ourselves with life. To love is to practice forgiveness, and it's to practice forgiveness over and over again, to reconnect, to atone, to bring healing and to build bridges. Practicing living with an open heart is to live willing to be transformed by what we encounter in our daily lives too. to be open to all those things, to all that life offers, and that can be deeply painful. But it's the only way to travel. By living with these three, open eyes, open minds and open hearts, we can then practice living with open hands. Hands that welcome, hands that humbly accept our interconnected. Open hands are willing to do what they can do to serve, to play their part in the world. It means committing and recommitting to use our hands, our abilities, if you like, in the service of life. With our hands, our actions, we take responsibility for our part in serving life, to create that kingdom of love right here, right now, to create a better world, the beloved community. With open hands, we offer what we have and we do what we can. You see, our open eyes allow us to recognise where we can act in the world if our minds and our hearts are open. And it's these three connected together, these three that tell our open hands where our open hands are needed. But you need all three to do that. Open hands, though, are not just about action. They're also about connection, and perhaps more importantly, they're about humility. And humility is the key to openness, in my eyes at least. And it's the essence of what I see as my chosen faith. Well, I say my chosen faith, but I'm not sure if I chose it or it chose me. Who knows? I have to remain open on that one. Now, the word humility is one of those words that's often misunderstood. To be humble is to be at home in our true humanity, to be grounded in our own reality and our shared humanity. The key to humility is to recognise that we are part of something larger than our singular selves. Humility is not about being meek and mild and bowing and scraping. It's not about being self-deprecating or denigrating. Too often humility is seen this way, particularly from a religious perspective, as an excuse for suffering and or meekness. That's not true humility. True humility is about living with open hands and doing what we can in the world. But we can only do this if we live with open hearts, open minds and open eyes. And by recognising our common shared humanity. It's an interesting word, actually, humility, when we understand it really, when we truly understand it correctly. It has its roots in humus, which means the earth. So to be human is to be humble is to be rooted in the ground at our feet. They share the same linguistic root. Humus, humility, humanity, earth, humanity, humility. They share the same linguistic root. They are connected deeply. And this is something that Forrest Church often spoke of, and in his book, Bringing God Home, A Traveller's Guide, he wrote the following on this. The word human has a telling etymology, my very favourite. All the words that relate to it, humane, humanitarian, humility, humble and humus, are illuminating. From dust to dust, the mortar of mortality binds us fast to one another. Jews, Christians and Muslims alike trace their ancestry to the 3rd chapter of the book of Genesis, where God proclaims to Eve and Adam, by the way, the word Adam means out of red clay from the earth. In the sweat of thy faces shalt thou eat bread, till thou return unto the ground, for out of it wast thou taken, for dust thou art, and unto dust shalt thou return. So really being humble is being truly connected. It's about being grounded. To be truly humble is to recognise our honest place in the world and in life in general, whilst recognising that life itself does not revolve around us. Humility is at the core, I believe, of the understanding of my Unitarian faith. I believe that we are a truly humble faith. Our tradition is open and accepting. We welcome, we celebrate diversity. We honour other points of view. Each other's, in fact. Aren't these by their very nature acts of humility? And in so doing, are we not accepting that each of us has limits to our own individual perspectives, and that we need to be open to one another in order to see new and deeper truths, that we cannot make sense of anything alone? This is free religion in its essence, at its very core, this coming together and experiencing more than we could have imagined alone. By coming together in love, we honour and acknowledge that on our own we cannot know everything, and that by being open to others who may see and understand things differently, we are challenged to expand our understandings, doing so in love and respect and honour, and honouring difference. Humility is about rejoicing in the challenge that others who see things differently can reveal to us new understandings, and they can expand and open our understanding of so much. I feel that so many of our troubles are caused by our inability to be truly open to one another and to new ideas. Our troubles are caused by our arrogance and the belief that we know best. Therefore, by not living openly, we fail to understand and therefore empathise with each other, and we remain trapped in what we think we know. We're too closed down, and we need to be open to one another, to life and to God. We need to be opened up like the Buddhist monk, arms out with his begging bowl. An image which, as Thomas Merton has explained, represents not just a right to beg, but openness to the gifts of all human beings as an expression of the interdependentness of all beings. Thus, when a monk begs from the layman, it is not as a selfish person getting something from someone else. He is simply opening himself to interdependence. Because the key is to live openly. And of course, the key to openness is humility. Without humility, you will never be open. No one lives apart from anyone else. We are all interdependent. Surely that's very clear now. And no one amongst us knows everything. We all see through every glass dimly. No one sees perfectly through anything. It's important to remember that. I remember the very first time I heard Forest Church's assertion that humility and openness are the two keys to religious living. How much this struck me deep in the heart of my soul, the marrow of my being. I saw truth in it. There is limitlessness in openness. We know how much we can... Who knows, actually? No one knows how much we can truly change and learn to love if we just stay open in our hearts, in our minds, and in our eyes. Who knows what we can do with our loving hands if we stay open in our eyes, in our hearts, and in our minds. The key to living spiritually alive is openness. To live with open eyes, open hearts, open minds, and open hands. The key is to live with true humility, to see that we are grounded in our shared humanity. The key is to see that we are part of something far greater than ourselves. And that through recognising this, we will know the love that is present in life and begin to bring that love alive right here, right now. Every day is a day when we can bear witness to a power greater than ourselves. We do this when we love one another with open hands, when we see the world through truly open eyes, when we live with minds that are truly open and hearts open to the love waiting to enter and to be poured out of us into a world that, my word, needs it now. Our world needs our love to be poured out of us, but we need to be open for that. It is our task, I believe, to live truly open lives. This is true spiritual living. This is the essence of true free religion. I believe this is our task, to bring love alive through our openness. Pour it out. It is our task to allow God to incarnate through our frail, human, finite lives. do we do that? Through living with open hands. I'm going to end with this piece with a favourite poem by somebody I really enjoy reading and listening to. It's by Mark Nepo, and the poem's called Accepting This. Accepting This by Mark Nepo. Yes, it is true. I confess I have thought great thoughts and sung great songs, all of it rehearsal for the majesty of being held. The dream is awakened when thinking I love you, and life begins when saying I love you, and joy moves like blood when embracing others with love. My efforts now turn from trying to outrun suffering to accepting love wherever I can find it. Stripped of causes and plans and things to strive for, I have discovered everything I need or ask for is right here in flawed abundance. We cannot eliminate hunger, but we can feed each other. We cannot eliminate loneliness, but we can hold each other. We cannot eliminate pain, but we can live a life of compassion. Ultimately, we are small living things, awakened in the stream, not gods who carve out rivers. Like human fish, we are asked to experience meaning in the life that moves through the gill of our heart. There is nothing to do and nowhere to go. Accepting this, we can do everything and go anywhere. So I'm going to end today's reflection with a few words of blessing. We need to bless more, and we can all bless, and we do so by giving our whole hearts to life. And we do so through our open eyes, our open minds, our open hearts, our open hands. Let's give our whole hearts to life. Let's begin with these words of blessing. May the love that is present in all of life flow through and from our very human being. May we open our eyes to witness it, open our hearts to experience it, and open our minds to understand it, so that open our hands to bring this love alive through our very human being. And may we live from this love and pour it out in all that we feel, in all that we think, in all that we say, in all that we do. Amen.